So this week I'd really love to help you hit your hybrids and fairway woods so much better. I do appreciate that these aren't easy clubs to hit. The longest clubs you have in the bag, what you're hitting off the fairway, so they can be tricky. But what I want to do is I want to share with you just two things that I share with my students. One revolves around making sure you've got the correct setup every single time. And the other is a really great drill you can take straight to the golf course that can stop you topping it, thinning it. And what it does is it helps to guarantee strike and really ramp up that distance so you can get much closer to those par fives, or certainly onto those par fours in two. Before I do though, look, if you're new to the channel, for your first lessons of mine, please consider subscribing. I release videos just like this one every single week to try and help you improve your game. Plus you never have to remember a thing. Everything we discuss here, I'll put into a free downloadable practice guide in the description box below. So before we get into the drill that you can take to the course, let's deal with one major misconception with fairway woods. A lot of times, certainly Max was the case when he came to see me, that he was setting up to fairway wood thinking it was a little bit like a driver, and he wanted to almost try and hit up on the ball, mainly because he wasn't getting the ball up in the air. But whenever a ball is on the ground, I want you to think, I've got to find a way to hit slightly down on it, no matter what club you're using. The reason being, if we can avoid any ground behind the golf ball, that's really important, we stop really duffing. We want to strike that ball first. So like any golf swing, there's a low point to your arc, which is roughly in line with your lead shoulder here. So if you put a ball anywhere back of that, like this, so this is my ultimately kind of my low point. If my ball is back of that, it means I'm going to hit hopefully the ball first, then the ground. And what that does is it gives me a real margin of error and almost guarantees strike. However, what it also does, you'll notice here, if I, in a sense, move the ball back in my stance here, I'm also, look, de-lofting this golf club. Now, this is a problem for most golfers because when you hit a 3-wood, for instance, which has 15 degrees of loft on, if you don't have club head speed, and we've almost kind of de-lofted it here, so we've taken some of that loft off now, the problem is when you start to strike down on this golf ball, that 15 degrees might start to become maybe 10. And if you don't have the club head speed, you'll never get it up in the air. So what I'll generally say to many of my students is make sure that you're using enough loft. So I've got, look, 3-wood here, but look, in my bag, I've actually got, look, a trusty 7-wood. And I love this because what it does is it means it's versatile. It gives me the option, if I wanted to now, to help guarantee strike, I can move the ball back a good club width here. I could get my body forward and strike down on this golf ball and guarantee strike, because even though I'm coming down, I've got 20 degrees of loft to play with this 7-wood. That makes a massive difference. So before we go into obviously the drill, it's really important to understand, like based on your club head speed, make sure you've got enough loft on your 3-wood, 5-wood or 7-wood, and maybe even like with my dad, I got him into a 9-wood. Why? Because again, it means it can encourage you to hit down on the golf ball and the ball will still go up in the air. If my dad was using a 3-wood and he was coming down on it as he should do, the ball wouldn't go up in the air, and before you know it, he's falling back into these kind of leaning back here, topping the golf ball, trying to get the ball up in the air. Now let's get stuck into the drill. So the drill you can take straight to the golf course. It's going to help you with your ball strike, and it will really help you generate some effortless power too. So with Max, who I gave this drill to, I said, look, he now understood that he had to hit slightly down on the fairway, but he didn't know how to feel it. So this is where the drill comes in. So when you make a swing, I said to him, Max, what I want you to do is I want you to throw the club down opposite your right foot for a second. So throw it into the ground. Like, feel like you're going to throw the leading edge, the front section of this golf club here, into the ground. Now, when he did this, first of all, he did this. And what he was doing, he was throwing, without realizing, the back edge. He struggled to get this front section hitting the ground. Why? Because unconsciously to him, he'd been training himself, like a lot of students I see, to almost get the ball up in the air with his fairway wood, yeah? Didn't feel right for him to do this motion. Now this is important, this is why he was topping it, right? So I said, look, just keep going, and keep going until you start feeling, look, feeling the leading edge just being thrown into the ground behind you. Now you've done that, I want you to get out of that similar feeling much closer to where the ball's going to be, yeah? So as he's doing this, he's like, okay, do you have to do big swings to start with? Just what would you have to do? And he's like, first of all, he's trying to reach. I said, it's not going to work. What would your body need to do? That's right. Look how much I'm moving, having to, there we go. So it's just an inch closer. Now we're getting closer. Now we're getting closer. Right, it makes sense. I'm moving forward to create that same feeling here, look, as I had here. Now we needed to kind of make it into a much more of a normal swing. So I said, right, I want you now to make the club and feel the weight of the club swinging. Start with that first. And as you're swinging, I want you to throw the club down behind and gradually, look, there you go. There we go. That's the feeling. I can feel the front section of that golf club just bruising the ground. That would be, look, the back section. You probably see my body almost leaning back. That's the top there. There we go. So he's now got a free-flowing club and he's paying attention. Now, throughout this process, he would jump in and out and start trying really hard. He would start to almost force it down. I said, no, don't force it. This is a sensory experience. It's a feeling. So keep the club swinging and just paying attention to what part of that club is hitting the ground. Then go to the golf ball. You've got that sensation. Get the ball position, look, you could at least a ball inside your lead heel. You could even be, I've got 7 wood, I could even move it a club width inside because I've got loft to play with to help guarantee strike. And then all we're doing is the same type of principles here with making that club swing freely and imagine that same feeling we had back here, now much closer to the golf ball. Actually, just before I hit this shot, I just noticed myself going down the grip slightly, very naturally, instinctively. The ball is above my stance here. I'm on a slope like this. So I've done this. I'm naturally paying attention to it. You might not do this on a regular basis, so take into consideration the slope of the fairway too. So get myself set here. I've got my setup in place, ball positions back. Let's get back into this. Nice and comfortable. Just like that, okay? Beautiful strike. Move it forward. I've got like 324 yards to go here, and that's going to give me a great opportunity to get up and down for the next one. Now, Max asked me a very, very good question. He said, how do I take this to the golf course, Danny? I can't obviously be taking chunks out of the fairway when I'm playing. So it's just a feeling you need to start to create. So do some swings. And when you do these lovely kind of flowing swings, pay attention to 2 things. One, where is this club landing relative to your feet? And how is it landing? Which part of the club is striking the ground? If it's anywhere close to the back part, then we're going to be in trouble. We want to get this low section of this sole plate just bruising that ground and in the right spot. So as I'm swinging here, I'm paying attention to what part of the club is striking that ground. That's really, really important. Now, when he did this initially, like a lot of students, he was trying to force it. Don't do that. That's just overthinking. Pay attention and swing the club, feel the weight of the club, and then notice what part, look, is striking the ground. I'll just hit a gentle one here. You walk into the shot here, nice and simply here, look. I've got that sensation, and I just hit away. So you take that sensation there, and then you just go with it. So understand, really, really important, please make sure you've got enough loft on your fairway woods. 7 woods are a brilliant addition. They will go much further sometimes than 3 woods used correctly, okay? Once you've done that, just get that sensation of your weight needs to be naturally forward. We want to get that gentle bit of compression with fairway woods here to guarantee the strike. And that is as simple as that. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up and share this fairway wood video with a friend who you know needs a little bit of help off the fairways. If you love videos like this one and you'd like some help with your driver, please go and check this video out right here. And of course, look, if you're new to the channel, it's one of the first lessons of mine, press that subscribe button right down here. I'll put a free downloadable practice guide in the description box below. But until next week, have a wonderful golfing week.